The Thunder Bay Public Library has a new CEO. The board has hired Richard Togman, a local entrepreneur who served on the library board before taking on this new role. The union that represents library workers has misgivings about the hiring, however, citing concerns about Togman's time on the board. Lee Noonan has the details.
The new CEO of the public library, Richard Togman, says he's excited to take on a new role after sitting on the library board for the past 5 years.
I think there's a lot of interesting work ahead being CEO of the public library system, and I'm super pumped to get going.
He's now stepped down from the board and says he played no part in the process that resulted in his hiring. Togman is also stepping down as CEO of Rent Panda, a company he co founded. His business chops were an important factor in the decision to hire him, says board chair Carol Grieve.
So we chose to split the role and have hired a CEO that will look after the other part of business, library business, and we will have a head librarian that will look after what we call traditional library.
Coming into the role as a non-librarian, Togman says his business and academic backgrounds present an opportunity to bring an untraditional focus to the role.
So for me, I get to have the best of both worlds. I get to come from an interesting mix of backgrounds and then really draw on the wealth of experience that our librarians and library staff have to really have a great synthesis in terms of what I can bring to the institution.
CUPE Local 3120 has issued a written statement offering, quote, mixed reviews of Togman's vision for the library. Major layoffs of library staff during the COVID shutdown were one of several issues raised by the union, which represents most of the workers, and they questioned Togman's positive comments about the library and the actions of the board during his tenure. Togman and Grieve both dispute some of the union's assertions and will be responding more fully in future.
Being on the board during the pandemic has been a very challenging time, and I know our past CEO had a difficult time with it as well. All of the operational details in terms of staffing were led by the past CEO, and the board tried to support him as best they can. But coming in now as a new CEO, for me, it's a fresh page. Being a board member and being a CEO are very different roles and opportunities.
Togman says his first step as CEO will be to engage in deep consultation with all library stakeholders, including library staff and the union, and that he hopes to continue the work of the past 10 years in making the library a more welcoming and inclusive space while also taking the library towards interesting new directions. Lee Noonan, TBT News.